What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the debut album by rapper Kendrick Lamar. Basically, this product is called Section.80 and it came out in the summer of 2011. So the thing about this product here is Kendrick had had a pretty successful mixtape run throughout the mid-2000s and early 2010s within those fairs. Particularly in the past, he had been known as K. Dot, and he switched that name particularly around late 2009, mid-2000. He had switched from K-Dot to Kendrick Lamar throughout the second half of 2009 with the Kendrick Lamar EP Pitches Like That, and then he dropped a follow-up mixtape called Overly Dedicated in 2010. Now, he started to particularly get like a pretty good mixtape buzz, Pitches Like That. I mean, I think a lot of his prior mixtapes as K-Dot were pretty excellent as well within those pitches, so I'm going to get to a few more of those within those pitches, within those fairs behind it. Hit mixtapes like C4 and some of those type ones within the pitch, and the one that he did with J-Rock as far as what's first going to happen. I think that was like No Sleep Till NY or something. I forget full bound, but it came out in late 2007. I think it is No Sleep Till NY, but it's within the pitch as far as saying this particular one, debut album within a pitch, is right off the bat some particular blistering type of appeal. It's really the aspect here. But I would definitely say this particular product is basically like the album version of the Kendrick Lamar EP and Pitches Like That. Now, I do like the particular mixtape grid of Overly Dedicated. I need to start fucking with that project a lot more full bound. I gave Overly Dedicated, I think I gave that like a 10 out of 10. If I didn't, it was like a 9.5 out of 10. I like songs like Michael Jordan off that particular product, but it did have like some buzzing type songs in there. It had a lot of lofty, kind of more in between, kind of makeshift type conducts within the pitch behind it. It's not to say I don't have songs from Overly Dedicated on my MP3 player, but I need to get to more interspersed with fucking with them in more standard rotation. Was within the pitch as far as saying I look after it here. I have fucked with this album for a good while within those pitches, but it's just kind of another one that's been on the back burner. But it definitely is classic Kendrick, I'd say, within the pitch behind it. Definitely within the appeal. Now, the thing about this album is the fact that, like the previous few Kendrick projects, it is kind of sleep-oriented, drowsy, and just kind of more straightforward within the pitch. It's very much within the fashion, similar to like Overly Dedicated Kendrick Lamar EP from 2009, and I'd probably say like it doesn't have as much kind of ravenous, but I do feel like Kendrick's breakout album within the pitch. This was a nice buzzing type product, but I feel the only thing about this particular appeal of this product is it's similar to like folks like Mac Miller, Big Sean, some of those type folks that just kind of have more kind of sociable kind of just commune within it. I mean, this album is social, but it's also within the straightforward kind of makeshift type sense. This is an album, I think when you think of folks that particularly know every album by particular formats, not just people who will say, oh, Get Rich or Die Trying is 50 Cent's best album, or Doggy Style is Snoop Dogg's best album, or Marshall Mathers LP is Eminem's best album. I feel like within the format, Kendrick is one of those folks that probably has a consistent vocabulary. I mean, Eminem is one of these people, obviously, nowadays, but just in the pitch as far as saying this is like a particular one. Tupac has this aspect as well within the pitch, at least he did back in like the 2000s. I mean, Tupac nowadays, it seems like he's not connecting as much full bound with like newer generations like Gen Alpha, not to have problems with them, but it's just kind of within the pitch as far as saying that Kendrick's discography, feels like Kendrick's whole discography has pretty popular kind of entries as far as saying that folks will know this particular product, because I noticed about it, despite the fact that this album did not have any charting singles, it has pretty popularity type buzz about it on Spotify and pitches like that. It has a number of songs that have over 100 million plays, which is pretty good within songs that feel. Surprisingly, the most popular song off here is ADHD, which the connect behind that, you would think within the pitch behind it is interesting, because that's really just kind of like a buzzing type song that has almost 500 million plays, but was not really released as a single, and it actually has more plays than the single off this album, which is High Power. So it's just kind of within the pitch. I feel like the sociable type appeal, Kendrick's popularity kind of speaks for itself at this particular stage within the format of it, but I look within the tone as far as saying I do feel like this is a classic. Recommend every song out of the 16 on here, but something to note is the Spotify edition kind of scraps one song, and it's kind of within the pitch as far as saying that particular song, unfortunately enough, is a Schoolboy Q song within those pitches. So the Spiteful Chant, song The Spiteful Chant, I'm not really as full bunch. I think I particularly purchased this album back in like 2012. I particularly purchased this album back in 2012, 2013, so I think I picked up the version of The Spiteful Chant, I think within the pitch. I don't know when these recent editions had kind of happened or removed The Spiteful Chant from like the nowadays type fashion, but it was on the earlier editions of the album within Stones Type Fairs. I look within the pitch, I don't know why it's not on the Spotify, but that, you know, that I do recommend that song. So the only song I don't recommend is full bound within the fashion behind is just Absol's outro, but I think I was listening to that song more. I think within the fashion I do mostly recommend that song. Not to say I fuck with Absol as well, was within the pitch. We'll talk about that as we get to it, but just being able to say, but yeah, this is a classic, but like standard things I've said about Kendrick in the past, just within pitch. If you're looking for like a kind of dynamite type smash, like when you think of Swimming Pools by Kendrick, that just really feels like a nightclub kind of blitzer. It does not have a song like Swimming Pools and Bitch I'm in the Club and like Michael Jordan, some of those type pitches. There's not really like a drill biter off this particular. There's really not like a drill smasher off this particular product. So I feel like in terms of like the crowd plays, just to say within this format, this particular album is a lot more just kind of like head trip kind of swirl of just like intake of just like the product of like makeshift commerce along with drifting kind of in a day drift type format, just in the more head trip type tones. So it's this kind of pitch. I mean, it has plenty. Like Wikipedia says about this album that it's conscious hip hop, but it's kind of within the pitch as far as saying it's not so much like, I don't feel like it's full bound conscious, but it just kind of has the affluence. It's just kind of more soft spoken within the pitch. I think that's the more tone about it. It's just not in your face and kind of like voracious. I mean, it has the lyricism on here, but it's just kind of the format there. There's not really like a song. When you think of like a Rick Ross, kind of like I Am Not a Star and MC Hammer and like Waka Flocka kind of hard in the paint, some of those type pitches. It's not like Kendrick can't do those songs. I mean, particularly, Kendrick later on in the 2010s did songs like this, like DNA and Humble. There's not really like a song within that particular type fashion. DNA, Humble, Swimming Pool, some of those type ones, Bitch I'm in the Club, some of those particular type formats within the appeal. It's not, I realize within the tone, but it's this kind of pitch. I mean, this is kind of like a buzzing type product. Now, it gets a 10 out of 10 within the fashion, but I think if you're looking for like All Eyes on Me type Tupac, this is a good album, and it's going to get a classic score. Recommend all the songs, like I was saying, was just kind of the fashion. There's just certain times for Kendrick within the pitch where you look after it. I feel like albums like Damn and Good Kid, Mad City just have a little bit more of like sociable type bite about them. So it's just something to know going in. It is a classic within those type of appeals. Definitely like the impact of it in the appeal, but it's just if you come to this project wanting like Friday type gems and pitches like that. I mean, I think there are some Friday songs on here, but I probably would recommend a lot easier Good Kid, Mad City, and probably the album Damn, and probably Black Panther from 2018 as well. There's just ones. It's within the fashion is what I've realized with Kendrick. There are just albums in particular, some albums, and it's just kind of the product. It's not where it's every single one that's going to have these type moments, but particularly some albums may not have like the jump, and it's kind of the fashion of what I've thought, particularly me questioning like the conduct of what's going to be with like the 2015 album To Pimp a Butterfly, some of those type pitches. I feel like this is a fun type product. It's not to say it's not fun whatsoever. It's just the pitch as far as saying it's just something to know going in. That's just not the viciousness that kind of goes along with it. It's not like it's not vicious. I mean, the lyricism on here is vicious. Just kind of the tone that if you're just looking for, once again, like Friday type material. But I think there is some of that on here. We'll dissect it, get towards it. But yeah, there's only one single off this project, and that's the song High Power. Now this is a pretty factory Kendrick type song. I feel like this particular format, this is an early bird type start for like the pitch of putting Kendrick in the right direction and getting him more makeshift bound pitches like that. I feel like this is a good song here. I'm going to look and see how high this song charted, because I do question that This is a good type one, but it kind of reminds me of just like when you think of alternative rock out of like 96, 98, 99, some of those type pitch, just that orange skies kind of fatigue about it. This is one of those type ones that this is like a rap variation of something alternative rock would kind of do. So it's just good type pitch. It's really kind of some summer drifting. It's kind of the makeshift embrace of just getting you through like these moments of after like work shift type air and pitches like that. So High Power is like a slummish kind of day drifting, I'd had to say here. Just kind of some usual dredge, I'd had to say, with an outing type tip pitches like that. Good smokish type song, I'd say, within the aspect. It's like a good smokish type song, smoking the whips and pitches like that. Just figure out the map out, so what's going to happen. It's like this particular song is like a hungry Kendrick and like makeshift as far as what's going to happen. So this works pretty apple within a sense. Now, reality of it is, I can't think of as many full bound songs. Like Kendrick did some of this on like the Damn album. There's particular ones, maybe trying to think of some of that as far as what's going to happen. There were other singles apart from Humble. Yeah, I've been rocking more with like the sociable type Kendricks. That's kind of the blitzing type aspect. I have purchased like Damn and Black Panther, all these type ones. I do own quite a few Kendrick products. I do own this album Section.80 as well within those pitches, within the format as far as saying. Just kind of appeal that there were some singles off of 2017's Damn within those pitches that kind of had the format a little bit more makeshift embrace. I forget the ones as full bound, but it wasn't like Humble, some of those type ones like Humble that hit number one. But High Power is what it's just, it has High power just has the conduct of like 4:45 p.m., 5:15 pitches like that. As like the sun is simmering, just the heat waves are out. Just particular, real excellent summer makeshift for like late July, August, unless that first one pitch. Just real good summer tune, but just the pitch as far as saying this is more straightforward and is like some good loud pack for just the embrace that just got done with tasks. That kind of happens to be a thing, but yeah, simple enough to say I recommend every song off here out of the 16, and that includes Despiteful Chant and Haphazard kind of sense Absol's outro, which I mostly fuck with, but it's just kind of pitch just a lengthier type song, and it's not really as much a full bound song as much as it is this kind of like the atmosphere of like the goings on that kind of happens with it. And there's also a couple extra songs as well, Chapter 6 and Chapter 10, that are kind of like interlude with like vocals on their pitches like that. They're not so much interludes, but they're not really as much full-bound kind of songs where there's like choruses and pitches like that, so I'd say. But yeah, there's some excellent ones on here. Rigor Mortis is a real nice one. It's like a graceful kind of blue blood activity, I'd have to say here. Just like a white collar kind of prim moments, I'd say, within these aspects, within the tone. Good song for some champagne pitches like that. Just kind of luncheon type party or co-worker type party pitches like that. Just like a good theater hop. So it's within the aspects. Pretty similar to like Wale and folks like that. Big Sean, some of those particular type folks that would have like these particular ones where it is going to be like guacamole and potato salad type parties pitches like that. Just a little bit more of like luncheon type fair places where you'd hear songs like Players Anthem by Junior Mafia, some of those type pitches within the format. But it's actually kind of hoity-toity within the pitch as far as just saying within the aspect. It's outside the normal window more. This has the loftier bite about it as far as those pitches can happen. So this is a good graceful type one for like some step ups within that fashion, good type tones. I'll go ahead and talk about ADHD, the most popular song off this album, I'd say, within pitches like that, over 400 million plays within pitch behind it. It's like some early bird vibes of Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, I'd say, within the product of it. Just kind of some Sunset Pier, I'd say, within the aspect. Kind of a dredgier, kind of high power pitches like that, and it's like some great day unwind as far as those pitches can happen. So just within pitch as far as saying very similar to like the single, just within the format, but just kind of a little bit more scraggly within the format, just a little bit more of like a frustrating kind of day. It does have a good groove factor about it. It's a little bit more recreational within the pitch, but I just feel like the dredge factor of it, I feel like High Power is a little bit more embrace of like a makeshift type aspect, but this particular one, the ADHD is kind of in between like the fashion of High Power, the same sort of theme as High Power within pitches like that, but also a little bit of swimming pools in there as far as this person has. So it just has like a relative groove about it, but it's just kind of the pitch. It just has like that particular, it's kind of particular kind of slag and dredge about it as far as those acids can happen. So good type tone. Tammy's song Her Evils is a nice one as well. It's like a ropey and kind of upside down, kind of tipsy local sludge kind of get here, just vintage kind of dap piff and like a social type format. So this is like the same mixtape type fare, just in a more kind of album type format within the pitch, just social kind of conduct, house party sludge. When you think of songs, this is not as sleazy as songs like Grove Street Party by Waka Flocka was within the same sort of pitch where there would be some red cups, just in more kind of banner radio type fashion. So the thing with Kendrick, he was kind of doing some of that house party sleaze. That's plenty of songs off of Good Kid, Mad City pitches like that, but it just kind of has a little bit more bite about it where it's a little bit more recognizable, where folks are going to know some of these songs and be able to have like some dap and be like, oh, hey, you're listening, oh shit, you're listening to Kendrick, some of those type formats within the pitch, as opposed to most of the time these folks possibly not knowing is full bound what you're fucking with. It's just kind of pitch as far as saying, was this some good type tones? Some good type tones within the product of it. Cushion Corinthians is a real excellent one. It's probably an immediate one in my opinion to go for. Now there's plenty of these on here within the pitch, but this is a real nice one. It's like a drooping and scorn kind of smoke conduct to kind of get here to spark up real nice, I'd have to say. Good song to brood to, and it's like a real nice dark head trip as far as those fairs can have. So just to miss the product, easy kind of house party type fair. This goes great with Tammy's song Her Evil, some of that pitches within the format. It's probably one of the darkest songs off this album in terms of the format of it. Good recreational type fair within the pitch of just really getting some smoke type fashions. Just the aspect of being able to have some of that red cup type fair and pitches like that. This is more of a smoking product than a drinking product. I look within the pitch as far as saying it's just kind of the conduct of having some of these house party type moments. It's not. This particular album has a healthy balance of some of these within the pitch, but it's kind of a good, nice one for like the fair, or just if you have leftover moments of like overly dedicated and some of those type moments, pitches like that. Mixtape Kendrick as K-Dot, some of those type fairs within the pitch is a good, nice one. It's like an album type fair, just having like some smoke type fashions and just a real morose type sense. It really works pretty well. Works excellently, I'd have to say. No Makeup, Her Vice is a real excellent one on here. This has a great hook by this Colin Monroe type cat, so it's a good type pitch here. It's like a glossy radio grab to kind of get this date evening kind of step out, I'd say, within the pitch, but this is it's like a slumish but peppy kind of spice up as far as this person can have. So just easy kind of fashion of easy kind of fashion of heading out to like the evening scene, pitches like that, just kind of some Wingstop type moments, pitches of that relative type fare, but maybe like the budget slower just with the pitch. I mean, some of this particular album, it just feels like it's not, like it has like enriched type moments, but it also juggles it with like the fashion, just realizing that it's not so much, I would say, full bound that money is tight, but maybe just not spending like hefty kind of overly bountiful amounts of this money just on particular type fares, just kind of pitch as far as saying that it kind of keeps things, not to say ghetto and like derogatory, but just the pitch just kind of keeps things more low-key, slummish, ghetto within the pitch, as far as just like this particular song, No Makeup, her voice keeps things more low-key within the sense of just kind of having like neighborhood type jaunts within the pitch, just within the format of this. It's kind of more everyday and just kind of, No Makeup just keeps things more everyday in like a sludge type fashion. So it's just the pitch as far as saying good aspect there. Fuck Your Ethnicity is a nice one. It's like a jovial, brooding, and like a day drink kind of saloon type fashion. I'd say within the pitch here, kind of some chump change kind of blow off as far as this pitch can happen. Just have some fun with that particular pitch. So it's just the format, just kind of a extra rounds pitch like that. It's kind of a round of just going by a bar or something like that, just 1 o'clock, noon, something like that. Just extra thoughts that just kind of, it is kind of in a funk, but it's just kind of the aspect of just having like some relative pep about it where it's not quite as full bound. It just kind of has like that particular scoring, like when you would see in movies where they won, where you'd see in particular movies where they lost the football game, but they're not too hateful about it, whether or not that would be right before the credits or something like that. But it's just within the pitch as far as saying just those extra type moments of this. It's almost kind of shrug type music, but it's just not quite as doofy within the concept. It's just kind of aspect of just kind of in a brooding type mode. It's kind of one of those bittersweet type moments where it just kind of has like the aspect of this haphazard kind of annoyance, but just kind of having some pep about it, where it's just not like fuck everything and I hate this, pitch like it's just kind of the tone. You just look after within the pitch. It's a good type tone. Some extra ones on here. Below My High, Members Only is a real nice one. This has some of the loft of like Kendrick from like 2009, 2010. Some definitely reminds Overly Dedicated and Kendrick Lamar EP. It's like an in-between kind of hotel and lobby transits to kind of get here. Nice grace and lofty kind of pace about this song as far as this pitch can have. So this is just one. This kind of reminds like Tyler the Creator from like his particular Bastard mixtape pitches like that. Some of those particular type fares just feels real ripped out of like the blog era. Kendrick was particularly a part of that within those particular conducts. Big Sean, Mac Miller, Tyler the Creator, some of those type folks, Odd Future within pitches like that, Frank Ocean, some of that particular type feel. So just kind of in between kind of hotel type moments where this is the fashion, like some kind of esteemed kind of moist step outs, but just in the pitch as far as saying just the product of like good, kind of graceful type lobby type music and just extra type fares. The Spiteful Chant with Schoolboy Q is a real excellent song on here. I'm definitely glad I purchased this album before the song was removed. Pitches like that. It's like a royal and esteemed kind of mixtape grind to kind of get here. It's like some Dat Piff kind of 2010 this song is like some Dat Piff kind of 2010 Kendrick as far as this pair is going to happen. It feels like some victory lap kind of buzzing within the pitch behind. So this feels just like Win by J-Rock, some of that pitch, just that kind of triumphant type appeal. But it's a real excellent aspect to kind of get for some of that banner, just kind of boasting and pitches like that within the format of typical kind of 2010s mixtape type conduct. Songs like typical kind of drowsy and sleepwalking kind of Kendrick, like most of how his usual demeanor kind of is. Not like there's a problem with that, but it's just the pitch. It's like it just has like that particular mixtape type conduct of something that you'd expect from like almost like a drill song or some of that bravado of like tunes like that, but just kind of in a more drowsy type sense. So good type of appeal. Hold Up is a quality one. It's like an enriched kind of lounge music to kind of get within these aspects. Just visit like a jazz bar in some city, kind of step out, skyscraper kind of pizzazz pitches like that. More places like Detroit, Philadelphia, Boston, some of those places within format, definite places like that. The Bronx, some of those places within the pitch behind it is good. And it's like a smoke good kind of makeshift coasting pitches like that. And so overall hot type song. This just amidst the conduct of picking up like local kind of nearby food, something like that, getting like a good Subway Sammy, some of those particular type products of this, and smoking in between type fashions, is having a couple good grape swishers, just pack us some smoke, a couple good grape swishers pitch like that, and possibly like some homies type fare within the pitch. The thing about this album is when I think about it within the pitch, in terms of like homies type conduct, like I was saying, there are some moments like Cushion Corinthians and within certain senses Rigor Mortis, and like I'd probably say No Makeup, Her Vice, and then like Tammy's song Her Evils within pitch. But in terms like homies full bound type modes, it's not, there's actually not a ton of guests on here apart from Schoolboy Q as far as this pitch kind of happens. It's just in the pitch as far as saying just has that particular conduct of this. It's not so much isolated, but it's just kind of pitch. It's not as full bound within the focus of, doesn't feel as full bound every single time bringing your homies along for the ride as far as this pitch kind of, which is not a horrid thing, which is kind of pitch just within the aspect. It does have the social moments on here. Ronald Reagan era is a nice one. It's a good, interesting song title as far as this pitch can happen. It's like a good throwback to early 2010s Kendrick, I'd say, within the pitch behind it. It's kind of some Songs like some makeshift kind of upkeep pep, I'd say, within the pitch behind it is kind of forward push as far as what's supposed to happen. So this one, what you see is what you get here. Just a particular kind of up. What you see is what you get with the particular conduct about this song. Is pretty straightforward within the pitch, but it's just kind of the format of disc having like a healthy kind of day push as far as what's supposed to happen. Within the fashion, there, like most of these songs, I'd say within the pitch are pretty smoke centric within the fair as far as saying to get towards point A to point B in terms of makeshift and just standard blue collar type reports and pitches like that. But this kind of the fashion. This one has a little bit more just like the healthy kind of fair, just like actually having like some conduct as far as being productive pitches like that, not being like it's being a little bit more agitant and being a little bit more agitant and centered as far as this pitch can happen. It's a good type pitch, but just kind of the tone. Do you like some of the appeals of some of these? I probably would sneak in like a swisher or two, something like that within the in-between type fashion of it, but it's just the pitch as far as saying there's some healthier type ones for the pitch, just like kind of like a more just some more Ronald Reagan era is just a more straightforward type version, like songs like High Power and ADHD, some of those type formats, not quite as dredgy, just a little bit more healthy within like the clean cut. Ronald Reagan era is just a little bit healthier within the clean cut type format of how it particularly goes about it. Poe Man's Dreams is an excellent one on here as far as these fairs can happen. It's like a day drift, kind of homebound, extra. The song Poe Man's Dreams is a nice one off this album. It's like a day drift, kind of homebound, extra thought as far as those fairs can happen. Just clean up, straightening pitches like that as far as those fairs can happen. It's kind of spare meals, some of those particular type conics within the pitch. It's kind of a good one to roll up some green, some of those particular type conics. So it's just kind of extra fair within the pitch as far as those fairs can happen. Just kind of the product of disc, kind of in between type fashion. It's not really so much here or there within the fashion behind it, but just kind of spare within the conic, just extra type moments that just trying to figure out. It's kind of the fashion, a homebound kind of house cleaning type activity that this feels extracurricular as far as those fairs can happen. So it's just one of the pitch as far as saying this the conduct as far as getting towards it. But I don't know, just some of these type ones. This is a good, nice one, like the appeal behind it, but it's just kind of a questionnaire as far as saying this particular fair, whether or not it feels as full-bound kind of social within the pitch. It is a good, nice one within the pitch behind it, but, you know, when you look after the fashion, probably another nice one that could have fit in here within the pitch behind it probably would have been a song like Cushion Corinthians, gotten another extra song like that, or another song like Rigor Mortis, or probably even another song I'd say within pitches like The Spiteful Chant, some of those type pitch. Not like this is bad. I mean, I think these modes are on here within the extremity of it. Some good type pitch, definitely some excellent type fair. It was just kind of pitch that just it's kind of some extracurricular type fair just for house cleaning type modes and pitches like that, but it just kind of gets towards it. I don't think I've talked about Keisha's song, Her Pain. This is like a nice late day kind of afterthought. I'd have to say it's lazy but forward kind of air and run pitches like that. Just kind of some map outs. This is just kind of some extracurricular kind of dredge within those impacts. Same sort of fashion songs like High Power and ADHD, some of those type ones, but this one pitch it just like has a nice hooky radio grab as far as these appeals can have. I probably would have chosen this one almost for like a second single, something within that format. Kind of fits the theme of like High Power and some of those type ones within the tone of the popularity. It's kind of extra type appeal of like a slumish type fashion that just gives you something to think about in like an Orange Skies kind of 6 o'clock, 5:45, 4:45 type fashion with the pitch. But it's just kind of, yeah, it's just a forward kind of air and run pitches like that. It's kind of some map outs as far as figuring out within the pitch as far as what to do within pitches like that. Not so much like a full bound going to get super tore up within the fashion, but probably just the product just figuring out what some next moves are going to be as far as homies call up or some bells nearby within the pitch as far as what's going to happen within the tone behind it. It's kind of that fashion of that particular, it's kind of conduit type motions just with like the fair, just kind of straightforward kind of errand and grocery runs pitches like that. At least in my opinion, within those fairs behind. But I look after here, and then the extra songs, Chapter 6 and Chapter 10 are nice ones. So Chapter 6 is like a soulful kind of Spotify bleed to kind of get here to some retire music, and by retire music, I mean just the after hours, like 4:45, 5:45 pitch like that is the product of being done. Kind of some penthouse and kind of lounge relief to kind of get here within those fashions, kind of enriched within the tone, but it's just kind of relief from day plow as far as this pitch kind of goes. So this once you get home from songs like High Power and Keisha's song, once you get home from songs like High Power and ADHD and Keisha's song Her Pain, some of that pitch just a good relief to kind of have within that particular conduct of just grabbing like probably like a good, you know, bottle of vodka out of the fridge, some of those type pitches within format, or orange juice, whatever, cranberry juice, some of those type formats. Kind of a good conduct for like bells nearby pitches like that, just to figure out like some good lounge type music within the product of it, just more homebound. Chapter 10 is within that same type fashion. Now, this is a shorter song. Both these are underneath 3 minutes. Chapter 10 is underneath a minute and a half. It's just underneath 2 minutes. It's a good type pitch here. Chapter 10 is like a rattled kind of smoke fest intake kind of pitch like that within those fairs. It's like some good blog era kind of in between. I'd have to say here, nice hookiness within the product of this song. It reminds of like Chance the Rapper. Reminds of like Chance the Rapper and BJ the song Chapter 10 reminds of folks like Chance the Rapper and BJ the Chicago Kid, pitches like that I'd say within those formats. Certain senses J. Cole, some of those particular type folks within the pitch behind it, so good type tones. Looking after here, Yeah, just in the pitch, this has like different sorts of producers on top of that. I did notice the high powers are produced by J. Cole as far as this pitch can happen, but other than that, not. Has a new wave of producers. Seems like there's a pretty good cat on here named Soundwave. He produced the most popular song off this album according to Spotify, so it's just within those pitches as far as those first can happen. So it's excellent type pitch. Makes me question if some of those type folks made it over to Good Kid, Mad City, some of those type albums, but it's within the pitch as far as saying. So yeah, this album gets a 10 out of 10 within the pitch behind it. The social score. So the social score would get probably like a 9.75 or a 10 out of 10. I look within the fashion. I think because it's Kendrick and he has enough popularity within the pitch as far as those fairs going to happen, I think I'd go ahead and give it a 10 out of 10. But the reason why I would almost get a 9.75 is just because the aspect, apart from like the spiteful chant, which is no longer on this album within the fairs of it nowadays, I say within pitch in terms of something bravado heavy within pitch like that to kind of thump your chest like a gorilla, pitch like that to really have like some first like some Friday kind of ferociousness kind of aspect. That's a lot more just kind of. It's like a pretty banner type lo-fi album within the pitch. It's just the conic as far as saying that it has like the house party type moments, but this is kind of more in like an oozing type fashion, just more within the fashion, just kind of like some soul bleeds and Spotify bleeds within pitches like that. So it's just kind of the tone. But look within the fashion as far as saying that's the kind of conduct about. But yeah, I'll give it a 10 out of 10 social just because the conducts of it here, they're pretty popular. It does have some good moments for like the Makeshift Embrace, songs like High Power, ADHD, Keisha's song Her Pain, some of these type ones. There's other ones on here. Say No Makeup, Her Vice is pretty good within those conducts. Ronald Reagan era, some of those type pitches within the format. Fuck Your Ethnicity is pretty good. Day Drink, Saloon type fashions. There's just some good ones on here. I don't know if I said Poe Man's Dreams, but that's another one within those conducts. Yeah, it does have the fashions. I would say in terms of like some house party appeals within the most immediate sense, I definitely say Tammy's song Her Evils, Cushion Corinthians. I would definitely say in a house party kind of sociable type sense, Tammy's song Her Evils, Cushion Corinthians, The Spiteful Chant, Fuck Your Ethnicity, some of these type ones within the format as far as those pairs can happen. Just look within the pitch as far as saying they have like some good immediate type aspects for like sludge kind of similar to like Dat Piff type fashions, pitches like that. Just good type tones within pitch. So in terms of the future, like Kendrick recently dropped in the fall of 2024 with the GNX album as far as those fairs can have, definitely within the pitch as far as saying I reviewed everything else by Kendrick between that particular point. A lot of K-Dot type stuff. There's a couple more K-Dot mixtapes to get to. And then I also have 2015's To Pimp a Butterfly, and then I just basically have recent Kendrick like Good Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and then GNX of course to get to. So within those pitches I've wrapped up quite a bit. Other than that, there's some pretty nice ones. This is a classic within those conics. Definitely has the appeal like day shift and night shift pitches like that, but just kind of does it in a more sludgy, kind of thought-provoking type format. But it's really, I don't feel like it's so much conscious hip-hop as much as it is just soft-spoken. It's just not in your face and kind of ravenous with them pitch behind it. But it does have moments like that and like formats like the Spiteful Chant. But apart from that, just similar to like how Overly Dedicated only had Michael Jordan, just kind of with the pitch, it does have those particular moments on there. But it's just with the pitch, this is a classic here, pretty good for like that particular format of dislike. This album is like a banner kind of lo-fi 2010s and blog era type album within the pitch behind it. Definitely some standout type appeals and easy kind of highlight.